Fire TV Sticks and Amazon Fire TV Sticks, and on ZingoTV on Chromecast and all smart TVs 2016 forward. Please remember to download both the Barn Burner and ZingoTV apps in their respective app stores. Both are free on both iOS and Android devices. While you are using, please remember to rate and leave a comment so we know that you are enjoying them and getting the most out of your usage. So on this episode of PWP Over the Glass, I do not have a player as I was hoping. I was hoping today for Caitlin Gosling, formerly of the Calgary Inferno, but I will do without her instead because we do have some other things to get to. So that being said, let's take a better look at this USPHL Hub City Tampa thing going on. It's actually starting today, and players have arrived as such, and the schedule for those games is out. And then there's some commentary from some outside sources and whatnot. So lots to pay attention to here, and then I will address how the rest of this is supposed to work. So that being said, again, the Hub City Tampa thing starts today and will go until, I believe, January the 18th. So the calendar was just released a day or two ago, and that was 2 days ago. Yes. So this is how it's going to work for the PWPA teams who are taking part in the USPHL bubble competition / tournament in Tampa, Florida. So excuse me. But all right, let's get into it. So the PWPA's 24-player team will play 6 games in 9 days in Florida. 5 of the games will be played against the USPHL NDCD teams, which I actually think is NCDC. And then there's one against a USPHL Premier team. So the schedule for that looks like this. Thursday, January the 7th, they will play their first game, and that's at 2 p.m. Eastern time against the Tampa Bay Juniors. And then they will follow that the next day with a game that starts at 10:40 a.m. Eastern time, bright and early to the ice, and that's against the South Shore Kings. Now, Saturday, January the 9th, they will play at 7:45 p.m. Eastern time, a little bit later than the 2, and that's against the Philadelphia Hockey Club. Why they do not have a name, I do not know. Tuesday, January the 12th, with a couple days off to, rehab and exercise and, practice, they will get back at it at 9:10 a.m. Eastern time, really early against the Junior Bruins. But again, I guess with the Dream Gap Tour that happened here in Toronto, the really early thing, not really going to affect many of the players. Anyways, that to be said, Thursday, January the 14th, they are back with a 10 a.m. game. That's 10:40 a.m. Eastern time against the Utica Junior Comets. And then they will finish up on Friday, January the 15th, the next day, again with a 10:40 a.m. match against the Twin City Thunder. So all these games will be streamed on the USPHL's Hockey TV channel. Originally, there was a deal where there was supposed to be a subscription for $30 a month being required to watch all the action. However, that's been cut because at the end of the day, you have to realize that with women's professional hockey, that being hidden behind, a paywall, no, that doesn't cut it. And I spoke out about this on Twitter yesterday. Look, I know it's not the PWPA's decision. I knew that this was the USPHL's decision because it is their channel. And then again, Hockey TV, as it is, they, rightfully so, have a subscription-based model in order to gain the revenue. So the USPHL addressing that and putting these games for free, at least a couple of them, I think was really beneficial, especially because, look, how are you supposed to grow the game if it's hidden behind a paywall, if it's hidden behind where you cannot find it? And the PWPA is used to playing their games live on CBC, Monumental Sports Network, the ESPN mobile app for free. They're used to doing so on YouTube for free. So, just something to think about. And so I thought I would put that out there. Now, the PWPA team is made up of a mix of players from both the New Hampshire and Minnesota training hubs with a nearly equal split between the two. They will be coached by Bill Flanagan, the coach and general manager of the New Hampshire hub, as well as the coach of the Northern Cyclones, again, based in New Hampshire. Flanagan is also an owner, again, of a USPHL team, and that is the team that he's the owner of. So, in addition to the games, the players are set to have on and off ice training opportunities, which we will see between the break in their playing schedule. The players will be isolated again at the Saddlebrook Resort, and according to the PWPA in an email to the Ice Garden, all have to show negative COVID-19 results when they arrive. If they show any symptoms, they will be tested. The USPHL has an isolation building at the resort for anyone showing symptoms or who may have been exposed. They will play and practice at Advent Health Center Ice. The PWPA team is playing a portion of the USPHL's hub's City Tampa event, and the USPHL describes itself as a unique tuition-free junior hockey division geared toward Division One collegiate development, placement, and beyond. So again, the rosters look like this: Chelsea Goldberg from New Hampshire, Delaney Balinskis from New Hampshire, Nicole Schammel from Minnesota, Haley Skimmeroff from New Hampshire, Sydney Brott from Minnesota, Sophia Shaver from Minnesota, Kelly Panic from Minnesota. Then under that is Hannah Brandt, Minnesota, Haley Skarupa, New Hampshire, Gigi Marvin, New Hampshire, Danny Cameronese, Minnesota, Brandon Decker, Minnesota. She's also with Calgary, but right now is stationed in Minnesota. So she got the opportunity to join them for this event under their name. Amanda Kessel, New Hampshire, and Abby Roque, Minnesota. That is your forward group. Now, the defenders are Lillian Riberina Braga from New Hampshire, Cody Cross, a new member of the PWHPA from New Hampshire, along with Jinsey Dunn, also New Hampshire, Lee Steckline, formerly of the NWHL's Minnesota Whitecaps and U.S. national women's team from Minnesota, Savannah Harmon from Minnesota, member of U.S. national women's team, that's Megan Keller, then alongside Kelly Flanagan, also from the U.S. national women's team. And the goaltenders are Katie Burt from New Hampshire, Brittany Ott from New Hampshire, and Nicole Hensley, formerly of the Buffalo Buttes from Minnesota. So this is going to be a really solid tournament, and I will give you the structure of how this is going to work in just a moment with some further insight, to say the very least. So that being said, let's get right down into it, because we've got a couple things to pay attention to. Anyways, that to be said, just over a week ago, the United States Premier Hockey League announced its revolutionary Hub City Tampa plans. All NCDC teams plus select USPHL Premier and USPHL Elite teams will play games in the Tampa area while living all in one location, Saddlebrook Resort in Wesley Chapel, Florida. Health and safety is the top priority, as players will be restricted to traveling only between the resort and the ice rinks they are playing at, greatly reducing the risk of COVID-19 transmission while also following federal, state, and local guidelines, as well as the USPHL's health protocols. The initiative is exciting to coaches in the NCAA Division I ranks, who have pledged that they will be watching closely to see the next wave of NCAA Division I talent playing in the NCDC. Hear directly from 3 Division I coaches, including the all-time leader in Division I wins, Boston College's Jerry York. Jerry York was named to the Hall of Fame most recently last year. So just, again, another thing to keep in mind. So he said the NCDC has made a marked improvement over the last couple of years. They have attracted a strong group of talented players, and the coaches do an excellent job with player development. My staff and I will continue to follow the teams when they play in Tampa and throughout the remainder of the season. Now, he wasn't the only coach from the NCAA who chimed in with some insight on how this is going to work. Scott Borick, who is the head coach of the Merrimack Warriors, Merrimack College, said, "I'm impressed and excited for the NCDC and the USPHL as they work towards the hub city in Tampa. I certainly can appreciate the effort and creativity of the league's coaches and leadership as they try to bring hockey to the kids on their teams." Now, last but not least, Brett Riley from Long Island University said, "I've been very impressed by the pace of the NCDC games this season. The coaches have done a fantastic job strengthening rosters and recruiting top prospects to play during these unprecedented times. The talent of the league is even deeper, and the games have been fast and competitive. Our staff looks forward to closely following the games down in Tampa." So to learn all about the USPHL Hub City Tampa event, you can visit usphl.com/Hub City Tampa. So to give you I think a greater idea about how this is going to work, Michelle J tweeted something yesterday with regards to the TV schedule change for the PWHPA. So let's get right down with that, because I think that that's is certainly something to recognize. And so that being said, we are going to just take a quick look at that. Okay, so here's how this works. The hockey TV schedule has been updated with the PWHPA versus USPHL games, and half of them are free to watch, not all of them. Now, the impression addressed from the Women's Hockey Tribune was that all were free to watch. Now, that's again how it was worded. So given that's not the case, here's how that works. So the Tampa Bay Juniors will face off against the PWHPA All-Stars at 2 p.m. Eastern Time at Advent Health Center Rink B, and that is on that is the first game on January 7th, and that game is free to watch on Hockey TV. And then Friday, January 8th, the South Shore Kings will play the PWHPA All-Stars at 10:40 a.m. Eastern Time at Advent Health Center Rink D. That game is not free. It is behind a paywall. Saturday, January 9th, the Philadelphia Hockey Club plays the PWPA All-Stars at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time at Advent Health Center Rink B. That game is free to watch on Hockey TV. Now, Tuesday, January 12th, after a couple days off, they will return to action against the Boston Junior Bruins. That game is at 9:10 a.m. Eastern Time at Advent Health Center Rink C. That game is free to watch on Hockey TV. Now, they return to another matchup 2 days later when they face the Utica Junior Comets at 10:40 a.m. Eastern Time, and that is at Advent Health Center Rink D and is not free to watch on Hockey TV. And nor is the last one on Friday, January 15th, when the PHPA All-Stars take on the Twin City Thunder at Advent Health Center Rink D at 10:40 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, obviously, there was a lot of frustration. Again, I said that I voiced myself to address this concern. So I'm not the only one who did so, actually, because there was another account that did, whose name I will keep under wraps, but nonetheless known as a hockey podcast hosted by women, who said, officially frustrated. We searched all the listings on My Hockey TV for the upcoming PWPA games at the Tampa USPHL event and found absolutely nothing. There are many other games for the Tampa event, even lower level games, but no listings for any of the 8 women's games. WTF. Now, they go on to say, we were looking in advance to determine if a subscription was in fact needed to view the games or if they were free. Again, this is before My Hockey TV updated its schedule and actually put the games on a schedule, saying, not sure if this is intentional or if someone dropped the ball. Either way, it's hard to grow women's pro hockey if it's this hard to actually figure out how to watch. Now, Hockey TV responded saying, hello, please visit support.hockeytv.com/portal/home to submit a ticket. We will respond as quickly as possible. And then this was submitted and, addressed, essentially is what it comes down to. So, something else to keep in mind as we try and, again, get through this, I wouldn't call it a stalemate in growing women's hockey, but, every step forward seems to have this step back for whatever reason that it has. And while that's, kind of hard to understand, it just seems to be the way it is. Yeah, it's a little bit frustrating. And yeah, the PWPA has done a great job. They deserve to have had their games properly marketed the first time rather than someone dropping the ball. I will agree with that there was a significant margin of error there, and that shouldn't have happened because the PWPA, had they been on top of it, as they usually are on top with most of their events, doing the production themselves in one way or another, whether it be YouTube or working in coordination with networks such as CBC, they don't drop the ball. They only work to enhance their marketing and enhance women's pro hockey and the outreach to which it gets. So certainly something to keep in mind there as we continue to move forward here. So that being said, the team's coach, and that is Bill Flanagan, he recently sat down with the Women's Hockey Tribune to discuss the opportunity ahead, the COVID-19 protocols in place, and much more. So let's get through that article to give some greater insight on how this is going to work. That is actually not as much an article as it is a SoundCloud clip. But that being said, Bill Flanagan, who is financially backing this opportunity and will coach the group, again, recently sat down with Alex Thomas of the Women's Hockey Tribune to discuss the trip, the opportunity that awaits these 24 players, the COVID-19 protocols that will be followed, and much more. So again, you can check that out while you're at thewomen'shockeytribune.com. Lots more on the PWPA. There are player profiles and a lot more to get to. So something to keep in mind. Meanwhile, what you can read in the meantime is the fact that if you're on the Twitter, what you'll be reading is that not only are there new toddler and baby items available to ship worldwide via the PWPA Canada pop-up shop, but that pop-up shop ends tonight at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, so make sure to get your merchandise before the clock runs out. So the PWPA launched a new partnership to open the new year. And a lot of these players have taken to social media with that. And so that being said, this is again with Budweiser, and the message is to join Team Zero, join teamzero.com. And many of these players are helping to be part of that ad. And so a couple on Twitter that have taken part to this are Kimberly Sass and Renata Fast. Meanwhile, there are a ton more on Instagram who did, including Melody Daou, Genevieve Lacasse, and many more. Now, the message being stretched across here is new year, new brew, a non-alcoholic kind. I'm excited to join Team Zero along with Biz Nasty 2.0, Paul Buzinet, George St. Pierre, and PWPA gals to start 2021 strong. You should too at Budweiser Canada. Join teamzero.com. Then Renata Fast said, New year, fresh start. I've joined Budweiser's Team Zero to kick off the 2021 year strong, and you should too. Visit jointeamzero.com and let's turn ambition into action. Hashtag dry January at Budweiser Canada at PWHPA. So, again, when you enter the website, it says you must be of legal drinking age to enter this site. And then once you do, there's some obvious explanations and whatnot. So I am going to get into that. I will talk about this briefly. Just entering my credentials. That way I can give a little bit of an explanation as to what this is. So that being said, it says 2021 is our year, zero excuses, zero sitting on the sidelines, and we're bringing together a team of motivated individuals to join us in turning ambition into action with Budweiser Zero. So it's a 50-calorie drink, zero sugar, 0% ABV. So it says, want to join some of Budweiser's favorite athletes and start the year off strong? Enter for your chance to win. A serving sizes 355 milliliters per serving. So here's the 3 steps to how this works. Join the team. Sign up here to join Team Zero and be entered for a chance to win a virtual meet and greet with Georges St. Pierre and sign Team Zero gear. Step 2, start 2021 off strong. And so for that, it says this January, start from zero. We're not sitting on the sidelines, and neither should you. Take on a new year with renewed ambition alongside Budweiser Zero. And this is why the PWPA partnered with Budweiser for this specific project, alongside the fact that Budweiser is one of their premier sponsors to get off the ground and keep working towards, a more professional and sustainable women's hockey league. So that being said, step 3, win prizes. Winner will be chosen at the end of January, notified via contact information provided down below. Are their terms of use, privacy policy, and official rules. Please enjoy responsibly if you decide to take part in this. No purchase is necessary. Do not share content with minors. Just a couple things to keep in mind. But again, it's about the bigger message behind it, and that's turning ambition into action, along with the actual sales Budweiser is making off of this, and a lot of players have joined. So again, it kind of speaks levels to that sponsorship and certainly the significance of it. So along with the significance of that, we see the significance of the PWPA and that it's having across all levels of hockey, really. And we've seen it this past season when it comes to the National Hockey League. There was a game where the Calgary Flames, after a win, they were all wearing PWPA gear that was flown over to them. A couple included Mark Giordano, Johnny Gaudreau, even their head coach before GF Ward were wearing these hats. But now with the merch shop, their sweaters are really getting around, and a couple who have sported these sweaters and certainly doing so to help spread a message include Alexis Lafreniere, who is this year's #1 overall draft pick in the NHL draft. And then you also saw, Megan Chaika. And then not only that, but you see others such as Connor Carrick. And the point is that with every purchase of their clothing, you're helping to provide revenue for whatever it might be, even if it's a $30 contribution, and not all the money in the end ends up going to helping these players to not have to pay for their own equipment, and then for arena rent outs and whatever, for Dreaming Up tour stops and whatever have you. It all goes to a good place, because these women deserve a better future, and so their partners, which include Budweiser, the NHL, PA, Scotiabank, Sonnet, etc., Canadian Tire, they're all helping along with these contributions via the pop-up shop to do that. And this time the pop-up shop had lasted a lot longer than their first one. And again, this partnership is with Adidas exclusively. And so the latest one to wear that sweater is Mitch Marner, as the Toronto Maple Leafs in the National Hockey League opened camps officially yesterday for the very first time since the COVID-19 playoffs that took place in Edmonton, Alberta. So, huge shout out to Mitch Marner of the Toronto Maple Leafs for that. Anyways, I am putting one on order myself, and a lot of colleagues and those people I'm familiar with as well are quite aware of that. So just to go are buying themselves. So just to go over the prices and whatnot for an adult, those blue sweaters with the white PWPA print are 70 for adults, 65 for youth, and $30 for an infant, and that's in Canadian dollars. There are a lot of more options and colors available as well when it comes to not only sweaters but t-shirts and so much other stuff. So you're seeing the huge step up, and I think that that's something really important. So just taking a hutch here, but it's, again, it all helps in one way or another to help grow the sport we know and love. So if you can be a contributor, please do go get yourself a sweater. It's so worth it, and it's just why, I guess, why wouldn't you, is the way I see it. So something to keep in mind. It all goes to a great cause, and the PWPA, they are planning to officially unveil their plans for the second version of the Dream Gap Tour. Again, COVID-19 has held them back from being able to already start. So they said in early January, we will have our plans unveiled. I have inquired to the PWPA to see where they're at with certain things, while also inquiring about my Caitlin Gosling interview that I was hoping for this week. I will continue to keep updated right here at PWP Over the Glass, right here on the Barn Burner TV Network and ZINGOTV channel 250. All updates will be coming along with the end of the World Juniors, which get going in just 2 hours time on TSN. And so, speaking of the women's game, something that's really special as we wrap up today's episode is that Jane's has decided to work on a project with Hockey Canada, and the message is Jane's all in, and it's to represent the legends of the women's game. And so, with that, they've created a couple of unique designer helmets, and on those helmets include Caroline Ouellette, Kim St. Pierre, Vicky Sanahara, the director of the PWPA, and that is Jana Hefford. And along with that is Manon Rayom. And so, again, it's recognizing talent. And Hockey Canada, while they did cancel the U18 Women's World Championships, and while we await the status of the actual Women's World Championships, which Scott Smith addressed yesterday during intermission of the USA game, saying that they are actively talking about that this coming week, about how to pull off the Women's World Championship, which will include many PWPA players in Truro and Halifax after it was canceled last year. Again, if they find that they are able to safely pulled off, it looks like and sounds like it will be in a bubble at the Scotiabank Centre in Halifax, which is no problem for the PWPA. They will make use with the time that they have left. Or the time that they are given, rather, I should say. Should they be able to do it, it will be just as good as the World Juniors, if not better. Again, look, they wanted to do it in Truro too, just like the World Juniors wanted to do it in Red Deer and Edmonton, but things happen. So, this is the year where COVID-19 presents its challenges, but the Women's World Championship did a revision of scheduling, such as the World Juniors did with Sweden in terms of hosting. And so is it possible that they also host in Halifax and in Truro next year? Again, if they have to do a bubble this year, which they still might have to do, again, seeing where COVID is going into, I think it's May. That remains to be unknown. So, something to keep in mind. But also, the PWPA players who are also members of Hockey Canada have been training hard with Hockey Canada and have been inquiring about, the possibility of playing games against USA Hockey in a place where they're able to do it, and where testing can obviously be done, and all that fancy stuff as it results to the virus, and just being able to play action, whether the Dream Gap Tour gets going or not. Because at some point or another, professional women's hockey needs that platform, and that platform hasn't been had for almost 9 months now due to COVID-19. So here's hoping to a stronger, healthier, and more successful new year. And so for updates on the PWPA's plans, keep it tuned with me on Twitter at Justin Levine HBS. I will provide those updates. But other than that, make sure you are following along at PWPA itself for merch, news, and USPHL updates, and at My Hockey TV from now until January 18th. So that really does it for me on this episode of PWPA Over the Glass, right here on Barn Burner TV Network and ZingoTV channel 250. Make sure you're also following along for these weekly shows every Tuesday afternoon at 3:30 right here at Barn Burner TV, and that's at Barn Burner Net on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So my name is Justin Levine. And this has been another edition of PWPA Over the Glass. I hope to have Caitlin Gosling on next week. I will have updates on the tournament, the Dream Tour, and more. Justin Levine signing off.